The run to the playoffs is on for your Seattle Seahawks. Welcome into this edition of Seattle Seahawks Today, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Schultz here with you. Thanks for joining us. We are going to take a deep dive into the playoff picture for the Seattle Seahawks. I got plenty of numbers to go through from the Athletics playoff predictor. We'll examine every game that's remaining on Seattle's schedule and tell you about the important ones coming up in just a bit. Before we do, folks, if you want Seattle to make the playoffs, like the video, don't jinx it. If we get 500 likes on today's video, that pretty much guarantees this team's going to be in the playoffs. So just believe me on that. Don't make me come find you because you didn't do your part and like the video. Smash that like button. We'll get started on today's show. The playoffs quickly approaching. Will Seattle be in? Will they be out? The last two seasons, they finished up at 9-8. That was good enough to make it in 2 years ago, and they were just short last season. What will happen this go-round? Let's take a look at how things are stacking up in the NFC right now. The Lions are your number one overall seed at 9-1. The Eagles at 8-2. The Cardinals leading the division race at 6-4. With the Falcons as the 4 seed at 6-5. The wild card side of things, the Vikings, the 5 at 8-2. The Packers, the 6 at 7-3. The Commanders, the final team in at 7-4. And then you see just a logjam of 5-5 teams between Seattle, San Francisco, LA, Tampa, and Chicago, each sitting at 4-6. So that sets up the NFC standings to look as follows. The Cardinals in first place, and then you have a tie for the third place spot between Los Angeles, Seattle, and San Francisco. But the Seahawks have 2 games in the next 3 weeks against Arizona. So although they're tied for last, this can change pretty quickly if Seattle does their part over the next few weeks. According to The Athletic, right now, the Seahawks have about an 11% chance to make the postseason. So not great odds at the moment, but this could change pretty fast. Their chances to win the NFC West right now stand at about 8%, while their chances to earn a first-round bye is pretty much impossible at this point. And to make the divisional round, the Seahawks have about a 5% chance to make that. You compare Seattle to the rest of the division, the Cardinals, and I'll say the division, the situation we're looking at actually is the playoff projections, their odds to win these games coming up. Let's start with the Arizona game. About a 49% chance to win this week. So about a toss-up game, according to The Athletic. The game against the Jets, despite how bad the Jets are, The Athletic has only given Seattle about a 37% chance to win that game. The road game at Arizona, about a 36% chance. And then the game against the Packers at home in primetime Sunday Night Football, their odds stack up at about 45%. So they're an underdog in all 4 of those games. Then you go to the Vikings game. We saw the Vikings sitting at that 5 seed, about a 49% chance. And that game, of course, at home. The Bears the day after Christmas at 51%. So a coin flip game essentially there as well. And then you wrap up the regular season at the Rams. The Athletic giving Seattle about a 37% chance. So with that said, according to The Athletic, Seattle is only favored to win 1 of their remaining games on their schedule. But through the simulator, even though Seattle is only favored in 1 of their remaining games, the Athletic simulator believes that they'll find a way to win a couple of those games they aren't favored in and projects the Seahawks to finish with an 8-9 record and miss the postseason. I think Seattle's going to be better than 8-9 down the stretch, and I believe they still have a shot to win this thing. We'll explain more coming up in just a bit. But let's ask you, our pinned comment today, who wins the NFC West? Will it be the Seahawks? Will it be Arizona, Los Angeles, or San Francisco? Get your predictions in the comment section. Let us know who you think is going to win the division title in the comment section below. Today's show is sponsored by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the place to go for daily fantasy made easy. Here's how it works. Choose 2 or more players in any given category. Get the choice of more or less, whether you're talking fantasy points in football, rebounds in basketball, goals in hockey, all sorts of different categories to choose from. And with Prize Picks, folks, I love that they got this great deal they're offering. They will give you $50 to spend for free when you play $5. You don't even have to win to get the money, folks. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS, promo code CLNS. This week, going with Geno to have more than half a rushing or receiving touchdown. Also going with Marvin Harrison Jr. to have less than 55.5 receiving yards. If I put some money down, there's a chance for a nice payout there, folks. You can play along with me. PrizePicks.com/CLNS, promo code CLNS. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. So let's compare now the Seahawks to the rest of the division. We mentioned earlier the Athletic projecting Seattle with about an 11% chance to make the postseason. The Cardinals sitting pretty good at a 63% chance. And then the LA Rams at 28, the Niners at 21. So the folks at the Athletic, based on their simulations, say that of these four teams, Seattle is the least likely to make it into the postseason. Now, one more thing I want to get to before we go over some odds of how this could change against the Cardinals here. Let me show you what the points expected metric. This is if the Seahawks were playing all 32 teams in the National Football League, I guess really 31 because you can't play themselves, on a neutral site, what would be their averages, how they would shake up. And according to The Athletic, the Seahawks offense is worth about 22 points per game. Their defense is worth about 23 points per game. So that means that there's an overall difference of about 1 point there. So over the next few weeks, the defense has got to get better and the offense has got to get better to make up that differential. Now, we mentioned the Cardinals game coming up this weekend. If Seattle wins this game against Arizona, then their playoff chances nearly double. Actually, they more than double as they go from about 11% to 23%. But if they lose to the Cardinals this week, then their odds to make the postseason go from 11% all the way down to 4% as far as that goes. So with that said, that sets up this Sunday to be pretty much a must-win game for Seattle here, that they pretty much have to win or they're out of it based on the metrics. 4%, pretty low odds. Basically have to win this week to keep it alive and keep pace in this matchup. And they're going to have their hands full against this Arizona team who's been surprisingly very solid with that 6-4 record. 13th best scoring offense in the league, 12th best scoring defense compared to Seattle that's 16th and 21st. So Arizona's got an edge in both those statistics there. And the folks out west have the Cardinals as about a 1-point favorite for this matchup here with the over-under set at about 47.5. Who do you got for Sunday? You going with Seattle or you going with Arizona? Type S for the Seahawks, type C for the Cardinals. Get in the comment section and let us know what you think. We are talking Seahawks football each and every day here on Seahawks Today with our daily videos, sometimes 2 and 3 videos a day, like today, for example. We also have our live shows on Wednesdays, watch parties on game days, your one-stop shop for all things Seahawks. If you love the Seattle Seahawks, this is the channel for you. Subscribe now for free, youtube.com/SeahawksTV. Now, as we get down to the home stretch, looking at these games, we went through the numbers that show the Seahawks' chances don't look great. This is a tough road ahead for this Seahawks team. Nothing is guaranteed. Every single week down the stretch is going to be tough. And I'll be honest with you, there's not one game that I look at of these remaining 7 games that I feel comfortable with where I say Seattle's guaranteed to win that game. There's some games I like more than others, and I do think Seattle's going to find a way through this. But this is a haul that they're about to go through. Starting with Arizona this week, you get them at home, and then you play the Jets the following week, and the Jets are probably the best 3-win team that we've seen in a long time. They're still capable on any given night with Aaron Rodgers and Garrett Wilson and Devontae Adams and Hassan Reddick and those guys, Sauce Gardner, Breece Hall, of putting on a show. Just because the Jets aren't very good doesn't mean that it's a given that you're going to go in there and win against the Jets. Same can be said for when the Seahawks had that inexcusable loss to the Giants earlier in the year. Then you play Arizona on the road again. I would hope that that crowd in Phoenix has more Seahawk fans than Cardinal fans, potentially. Wouldn't rule that out. Then you play Green Bay. I think Green Bay is one of the better teams in the NFC. I think they got a realistic shot to win the entire conference and be in the Super Bowl. Minnesota has been a surprise team this season. I've been very shocked by how well they've played with Sam Darnold under center. Chicago, you get after Christmas. The offense is good. The defense has got some question marks. What version of Caleb Williams are you going to see? And then you wrap up with the Rams, which could be a win and you're in situation potentially between those two teams for the playoffs there in that road game week 18. Will the Seahawks make the playoffs? Y for yes, in for no. I say yes, but they got their work cut out for them, that's for sure. What do you guys think? Let us know. If you enjoyed today's show, like the video. We certainly appreciate it. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time right here on Seahawks Today.